Hi, my name is Zachary Smith. Welcome to Spotlight. Today I'm going to be talking about the Electro-Harmonix 1440 looper. It's a stereo looper, it has MIDI sync, and it has a couple other cool features. If that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around. Alright, so the 1440 stereo looper is a pretty cool pedal. It's got the ability to sync with MIDI, so that's really cool. You can send a beat clock to this looper and have it synced up with any other of your other MIDI gear. You can also do, you have quite a few different loop options in here. You have up to 20 saved loops. You can run it as a stereo pedal, but I typically will run two separate instruments into the left and right inputs. They're totally separate, and so you can have your drum machine going through one and your synth going through another, or something like that. Of course, the recording arm is for both of them at the same time, because it is a stereo pedal and not a dual mono pedal, really. You have a couple effects on here, a reverse effect and an octave effect. Both of those are pretty cool. The octave effect is really just a tempo half. Cuts your tempo in half, so you can change the pitch with your tempo knob if you're not using an external clock, that is a cool option. It's really easy to do a quick undo on here, and in general, it's a pretty simple pedal. Like, there's not too much going on, but you have a lot available to you here. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of a demo of how I use this pedal. We have the BeatStep Pro coming in here. There's the Moog coming in. So if I wasn't going to say I didn't want to use the external clock, I'll just turn that off for a second. And if I'm going to just make a loop, it's as simple as so that's, very standard loop function, not using any MIDI sync at this moment. If we put that in reverse, and the octave, so you can see the octave also halves the speed. So it's not transposing anything, it's just slowing it down or speeding it up. If we're not using the external clock, we can use this tempo knob to fine-tune and actually change the pitch completely. Of course, when we get to doubles, it kind of defaults to 120, so that's where things are going to be playing back in the same key. So I'm just going to show you how the overdub knob works, because it's a bit funky. If we start with just a regular loop, with the overdub all the way up, if we add something to that, like it just plays at the same volume. If we go to the opposite side and add something, what happens is that everything that was recorded before my last overdub is muted. And unfortunately, you can't bring it back. That would be a nice feature, but it doesn't. It kind of erases at that point because you're only using one recording. So in the middle is basically your newest part will be the loudest, and it will lower the volume of everything that you've played before. So I typically will use this at full volume because then every part you play is playback at the same volume that you played it at. Then you can adjust your level on your things. If you want to do something that's more supportive, you can just record at a lower volume. So pretty simple functions. You got your loop start, and then you have your stop here. You can hold this loop down and it will undo the last part, and so then it goes back to the previous part. So that is a nice feature. If you do make a mistake in the middle of something, you can just undo it. It also can just be a way to reference the part you had before if you want to just take out the last part. So that's a nice feature. Now, if we talk about how to demo this thing up, it can do a lot of things. This is a looper, right? But I'm going to demo it with the setup that I use. So we have one synth and the Arturia BeatStep Pro giving us beat clock. So if I start this, I'll put it on external clock. And you hold this button down to erase whatever is in your memory. So we'll just start by playing a clock. And you can see nothing's playing, but I'm getting lights on here where the external clock button is beeping and the one shot lights up at the beginning of each bar. So in order to record something, it'll start at the beginning of each bar. So if we record this part in to start and gives us something to work with, I'll record 4 bars of this. So now that's playing back from the loop. And if we add a part in here, so to try, I got the Electro-Harmonix Canyon here. I'm going to try sound with that. So you can hear we have the ability to build pretty easily on that. When you have a clock source, you're not so worried about starting and stopping at the same time, which is kind of one of the big annoying things for a looper that I find. Trying to just make sure you're nailing those little things, I just doesn't, seems like a lot of wasted energy when you're trying to put something together. So when you're using a clock source, you don't have to worry about that at all. You can stop it early and it will just calibrate to the beginning of the bar. You can start it early and it will just start recording at the beginning of the bar, so very handy. The Electro-Harmonix 1440 is a really useful tool. It's not that exciting. It's pretty. I mean, loopers are not that exciting in general, but it does have the reverse and octave pitch effects, which can be kind of cool. But function-wise, it does everything that you want it to do in a very small package. This is kind of competing with loopers that would be, you know, twice the size in terms of functionality. Having the ability to plug in your MIDI and have two isolated channels of looping going on, as well as you can have external foot controller, which gives you some additional features in the foot pedal option for those. So yeah, I think overall you have a really good pedal here. Pros and cons. Pros are small package. It works quite simply. There's not too much to figure out. There's a bit of a learning curve, but I think that would be with any looper that has this kind of functionality. The ability to do stereo things separately is pretty handy. I really like the MIDI sync capability. That's the reason that I picked this unit. I haven't even ventured into other save things. I just use one spot and then I just keep erasing it. But having 20 different patches is probably helpful when you're building a live set. You can have some stuff kind of pre-saved in here. Cons for this thing, I have found it to be a little bit glitchy at times. I don't know if that's from the power or just kind of missing a beat here, or maybe having playing back the pitch of something. When I first start it, it'll kind of like ramp the pitch back up to what it's supposed to be. So there is, it's not perfect. It does have some quirks. It hasn't been a deal breaker for me yet, so I think functionality it's fine, but like it is something to be to notice if you're looking for something that's going to play it back perfectly. This thing, it has a bit of glitchiness to it, but overall a really cool product, and definitely something I would recommend if you're looking for a looper that has MIDI sync in a small format. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Zachary Smith. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments what kind of gear you'd like me to review next. Thanks.